racially divisive policies. And our next guest says corporate wokeness cost him his job there. Nick Williams is that former American Express employee, and he joins me now. Nick, good morning to you. You know, you have an interesting story because you worked at American Express for 8 years, and when you were let go, you turned down a six-figure settlement so you can expose what's going on inside American Express. So tell us, what is going on at the company?
Well, good morning, Carly. Thanks for having me here. It's an honor and privilege, especially the day after the Flag Day, to speak about the UnAmerican Express company, the corporate giant. You know, really what American Express and other corporations are doing is they are sacrificing their top talent on the altar of trying to be woke, try to avoid systemic racism, try to make themselves look like they're doing what they should be doing, when they're doing it at the expense of good, wholesome people that have families that they care about. And as a father of 4 multiracial children, you're the last person, American Express, you should tell me how to behave and how to see people of color.
What are some of the things that happened during your time there that made you uncomfortable?
You know, American Express was putting folks through a series of CRT trainings, including myself, where they were talking about microaggressions, telling us that we couldn't say we don't see color when. Why can't you say that? That's a microaggression, according to American Express. American Express was telling white males that in these trainings that if we have African American colleagues in these training, in a team meeting, in a national call, a regional call, that we need to sit back and allow them to speak first and hear what they have to say, and then we can speak afterwards, because we are privileged. We are white privileged.
Well, you say that you were the top sales performer at American Express for 3 out of the 8 years. You won 3. You were the 3-time winner of the Chairman's Award. So why were you fired?
Yeah, I brought those awards with me here today, Carly. It's hard to imagine that a Chairman Award representing the top 1% of 1% of performers at American Express, somebody who gets an award from Ken Chenault and Steve Squeary himself, who carries a black card that says American Express Company, Nicholas Williams. How can that employee be terminated after a perfect 8-year run, leading the country, leading national calls, training his peers, actually mentoring an African-American colleague at the time I was dismissed, because I told an African-American small-owned business, woman-owned business, who I did not know at the time was African-American, that she could not get set up with American Express unless she followed our protocols for risk and credit. And after she was speaking to myself and my colleague in a horrible way, in a horrible manner, I said, this is violating the Blue Box values, and I'm going to take myself and my team and set aside, and we're no longer able to service your account. You can continue the setup, but we'll still need those articles of incorporation.
Yeah, and you say that's what led to your firing. Well, everybody at American Express now knows who you are, because they released a statement to Fox News about you speaking out against the company, and they say Mr. Williams is spinning a false narrative of possible reasons other than his own misconduct for his involuntary termination from American Express. We are committed to complying with all laws and regulations and do not tolerate misconduct. If we identify potential misconduct, we thoroughly investigate and will take appropriate actions, including and up to termination. What is your response to that statement?
Yeah, well, I'm sure American Express knows about spinning a false narrative, because it retained 11 legal counsel, 7 internal and 4 external, to fabricate the story to get rid of myself and my 3 superiors, one who was a 25-year highly decorated veteran vice president at the company. They used KGB tactics to interview us for 73 days to fabricate our false narrative, to scapegoat us to regulators and others inside and outside the company, and ultimately terminate us, which led to a giant tsunami inside American Express, where they just terminated, well, they're still employees through June 30th, but they just terminated over 200 employees who should be out servicing small businesses, who should be an extension of these companies, 1 million to 500 million in revenues, helping their finance team close the funding gap, get discounts, use a corporate card.
Yeah.
These employees are now gone.
Nick, where's all this coming from? This is woke ideology infiltrating corporate America. Is it, a reactive measure at the executive level out of fear that they won't appear inclusive enough and could face lawsuits? Is it something else? What do you think?
This is my personal thought. It's hard to know what the true answer is, Carly, but what I would tell you is this. Ken Chenault was an extraordinary leader for American Express. Ken Chenault was African American. How could his company be so horrible that when Steve Squeri comes in, it is so woke and everything needs to be changed? We need to get rid of white employees. We need to give hiring managers raises in order to terminate white employees and hire or promote African Americans. How was the company so horrible? It was Black Lives Matter. It was the George Floyd movement. It was American Express's chance to be a leader. A leader is what it thought. It's what Steve Squeri must have thought in order to make these changes in the company at like families like myself at our expense who have bled blue for this company. We have given up so much so that American Express can be at the top, and we were just wiped into the curb, thrown down the gutter, and treated like dirt.
Well, Chris Rufo has done a series of investigative reporting on CRT in corporate America, and he says that American Express is one of the worst offenders. Nick Williams, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, Carly, I can just ask folks to go to the unamericanexpress.com. Tell your story if you are an American Express employee. I will be here to support you. Color Us United will be here to support you. And if you're so willing to put a donation in there to help me fight American Express, I will bear this cross.
All right,
Thank
there
you.
you have it. Nick, thank you.